Mike Baker, former CIA covert operations officer, is here. I want to, the article actually goes on further that the Maid was asked to print out President Obama's daily briefing from the CIA. I mean, you're a CIA guy, at least I think you are. I don't know whether you can confirm that or not, but, this doesn't go down well now, does it?
No, this is just one more, the term drip, drip, drip was used, but, this is more like a big plop that lands. It's just a big mess. And the thing that's, I think, important for listeners to understand, for viewers to understand, is that, look, there's not much in life that's black and white. There's a lot of gray, but there are some things that are black and white, and laws being one of them. Speeding limits. You either are over the speed limit or you're not. And there's laws on the books. There's a statute that makes it illegal. Not could it be illegal. It's illegal to provide classified information. And it doesn't say what type of classification. It could be secret, it could be top secret, it could be confidential to people who don't have clearances.
But
now, unless Marina Santos, unless the housekeeper, the house manager for Secretary Clinton, who was running her household in Washington, D.C., unless the government wants to tell me or her team wants to tell me that Marina Santos had clearances, had her tickets to handle classified information, this is a violation of the law. They allowed her into a skiff. They allowed her to go into a skiff where that's a sensitive, compartmented information facility. You can't go in there unless you have clearances. And they allowed her to go in there to retrieve documents off the secure fax machine, where they also, by the way, to that skiff would send copies or portions of the president's daily brief.
That's what I want to get to, Mike. The president's daily briefing, isn't that ultra secret? Printed, isn't that from the CIA directly on his desk every morning? The world situation, here it is. And the Post says that was printed out by a maid.
Yeah. If I'm still on the job, if I'm still in the outfit, and I'm targeting a foreign government, and I can get a hold of Putin or Xi's in China's daily brief that comes to him from his national security team, you know what? I'm going to be promoted so fast your head would spin. This is astounding stuff. And here's the other thing. If I am targeting an official, like a Secretary of State, if I'm a foreign intel officer, you know who I'm going after? I'm going after the housekeeper.
Yes.
I'm going after the house manager. I'm going after somebody who has access to that target and that target's environment, that home. And if I find out that that person that I'm targeting, that housekeeper or house manager, whomever, has access to secure information because they're allowed for some unknown reason to walk into a skiff, it's a winner. That's a home run right there.
Yeah, we're both exasperated, so let's both of us calm down. You stay there, Mike. I'm going to deal with something else in the meantime, but we will get back to you. I want to deal with this. The U.S. is warning of Russian involvement in the election, possibly through a hack. What have you got, Liz?
Well, basically, they're warning that the fear is that they could hack into the system here in the United States, the voting system, do denial of service attacks, swamp the polling information system, put up bogus polling results. Now, the U.S. voting systems typically are not connected to the Internet. It's more about defrauding the results. But now we're tracking reports that U.S. military is telling the media, certain media, that we can retaliate. We have our own cyber weapons. We have malware we can plant in Russia's telecom or in their electric grid.
Mike Baker, still there. Is that a credible threat to our electoral system, and is it a credible counter-threat for us to go after them?
Well, this is a really murky area, and we're still trying to work out. Pentagon and others are still trying to work out, how do you set those lines when you determine you need to go proactive, you need to go on the offensive. Is it a credible threat? Well, yes, it is. I mean, look, if the public knew, not just our electoral system, our infrastructure, but if the public knew how many times daily our infrastructure, commercial infrastructure, public infrastructure was probed, targeted, tested by state-sponsored perpetrators, by pseudo-state-sponsored, by persistent threats, by individuals, they wouldn't sleep at night. So, yes, this is something that we're wisely focusing on. And I will say this much. The comforting part is we have the best team out there. We have the best cyber personnel out there, both for defensive and offensive.
Mike Baker, I'm very glad you came in on this Sunday morning. We do appreciate your presence. Thank you, Mike. Good stuff. Now.
Thank you.